So opponent started with e4. Dianshi is black. She plays e5. Opponent plays d3. Dianshi plays knight f6. So because it's a new account, you get tough opponents at first, and then when you lose games, your rating comes down, and then you will start getting easier opponents. Bishop to g5, pinning the knight. Dianshi immediately challenges the bishop. The bishop takes. How do we take back, Yogit?
Sir, with the queen.
Yeah, always with the queen, because you want to castle this side. So you want the king side to be intact. f3, slightly bad move there by white, because it takes away a square from the knight, and it also allows bishop c5, after which white cannot castle easily. So pawn f3. Dianshi plays a slight mistake here. Where do you think the bishop should come to? Here, 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 here. Where should the bishop come to, Dianshi? What's the best place for that bishop?
Sir, bishop
c5, because it's active there, it's stopping king from castling and all that. You got tempted by a check. So that's a mistake, because you're simply allowing c3. You're giving him more control of the sender, and the bishop gets kicked. Now where should the bishop go to?
Sir, c3.
c5. Right? Still c5, because even if d4 you can take. They take, you can just take. Queen is also there. So c5 is still the best place. But then the bishop landed on a bad place. d6. It's like stuck between two pawns now. Opponent plays b4. Dianshi plays queen h4. Is that a good move, Yogit, or a bad move? What do you think?
So what's that?
You have to focus on the class, Mr. Yogit. Can you close your book, your writing, the moves? Then you will not be able to pay attention. Na? You can see her game if you go to her profile. If you go to Dianshi19 on chess.com, you can see her game. So you don't need to write now. Right now your attention should be here in the class. So queen h4 was played by Dianshi. Is it a good move or a bad move, Yogit? She gave a check to the opponent.
Sir, bad move.
Because
The G pawn will go to
g3,
G3.
and the queen will have to go back. So this is very similar to your bishop b4. So it's the same pattern. You're giving check but getting kicked. So it doesn't help your position. It just wastes a move. The queen has to go back, and now it is white's turn. So you basically wasted one move, or maybe even two moves, because this is also a useful move for white to control things. So queen went back. Knight d2. Position is still okay. Black is still doing fine, because white has only taken one piece out. Black has taken two pieces out, although one of them is the queen, which shouldn't be out early, and bishop is not active. So it's around equal, you can say. Knight d2. Bishop went back. Now that is a bad move, Dianshi. Why is the bishop getting scared? Why is this guy getting scared? Is this because the knight is going to come to c4? If it comes even, then you can go to e7. Like when it comes. You don't need to run even before the threat happens. And even if the threat happens, which is not really a threat, queen is defending it, pawn is defending it. Even if it happens and you want to save your bishop, you should be choosing this square. So it's like Dianshi hates this bishop. You put it here, got kicked. Put it here where it's not active, and then put it all the way back where it's doing nothing. So the bishop is a bad piece. Wasted so many moves. Knight c4. And now Dianshi plays queen e6. Another unnecessary move. Queen is hello, Saksham. Ratings have been updated. Saksham and Dianshi are in the top 10. Yogit is also somewhere close, I believe. Where is Yogit? Yogit is in 24. Okay. Dianshi is number 7. Saksham was number 5. Okay. So coming back. So this is again an unnecessary queen move. Queen's already active out. You have to develop these three pieces. In the opening, we bring out our. What do we do in the opening? We bring out our.
Are we playing opening?
We bring out our what opening?
Are we playing opening?
Is that the question? In the opening, we bring out our. So try to focus in the class.
Are smaller pieces.
Minor pieces, which are the.
Bishops and knights.
Not just knights, Saksham, knights and bishops. Right? So these guys have to come out. The guy you put back after 3 moves, it has to come out. This guy has to come out, bishop has to come out. And they have to come out fast. And then you have to castle. That's it. That's all you have to do in the opening. So this move takes away a move from the other pieces, the minor pieces. So queen e6 and there's no threat. Now opponent also brings out the queen, which is slightly bad because he should bring out these two first. Maybe he wants to castle this side fast. So queen a4. Queen to c6 was played by Dianshi. Another queen move. Knight should have come there. You're asking to exchange queens. Opponent says okay. Now how should we take back Saksham?
Sir, with the knight.
Of course with the knight because you want to bring out the pieces. But Dianshi took with the pawn. If you took with this pawn it was fine because it brings out the bishop. Right? But you took with the b pawn which doesn't help the bishop much. You can come out here which is not as good as coming out to this diagonal. But okay, it's still equal. Position is still equal. Right? B takes c6. But now there's a small problem. If she had taken with the knight, it was okay, it was fine. But now white is a good move, which is, Yogit, what can white do?
Sir, castle.
Castle, says Yogit. Any of you, either of you, what is a good move for white? The answer should know, no? You played this.
Sir, castle.
Castle, okay. Sakshi.
Free pawn.
Yeah, there's a free pawn to take, guys. Captures. Castling can happen later. There's no queens on the board. Even if you don't castle, it's fine. You have a free pawn to take. That's more important than castling. So knight takes pawn. Opponent wins a pawn. Now it's better for white. White has an advantage in the position. Pawn up. Dianshi brings the bishop back. Attacking the knight. Knight moves back. Attacking the bishop, but it's defended. Dianshi anyway moves it. This time to the right place, not to the f8 square. Bishop e7. And now opponent castles. So white has a comfortable position because he has done two things good, taking out a knight, castling. Black has done only one thing, taking out a bishop. And white is a pawn. So Dianshi brings out the bishop, that's good. The knight comes out. Now Dianshi takes, opponent takes back.
Castle.
You can castle and bring out the knight. Both things are left. But Dianshi plays bishop g5. Now it's the endgame. Queens are not there. So castling is not as important. Bringing out pieces to good squares is more important. So these moves are okay. Bishop g5 is okay. It's a check. But again, this is also similar to the same pattern as before. When you played bishop b4 check, queen h4 check. This is very similar. It's not good because what can white do? Yeah, Saksham?
It can block with it f3 pawn.
Yeah, f4 kicks the bishop. So it helps white, not the check doesn't do anything. Opponent instead moved the king. Knight a6. Bringing out the piece. And now opponent plays f4. Yeah?
It's at a corner.
But what else could it do? You'll have to play d6 and then knight here, that would have been better. But it'll take two moves. At least it came out, it's doing fine. It's in the corner, but it's okay. f4, bishop goes back to f6. And now e5, the bishop is getting kicked. And now the bishop again went to a bad place. Where should the bishop go to Dianshi?
Sir,
Of course e7, but the bishop jumped all the way back to d8. So the bishop is getting scared a lot. Knight to d4, activating the knight. And now Dianshi played a move I do not understand actually. Dianshi played knight takes pawn. I have no idea why she did that.
Sir, because it was a check.
Check? Where?
Sir, the knight, if you kill the
But pawn will take it, no? It's a free piece, no? Check doesn't change anything, it's still a free piece. So knight takes pawn, it's just a free knight. But opponent didn't take it. Opponent moved the king. Wow. That's a big miss by the opponent. He's 600 plus rated opponent. But he missed a free piece. He had time also. Anyway, Dianshi still did not save the knight. If she had saved the knight, it was equal. She lost a pawn, she got a pawn and it's equal. But now opponent takes the free piece. With the king that too. He took with the king. It's okay for the king to come out because it's the endgame. Just three pieces on the board. It's somewhat okay. So king takes. Dianshi gives a check. Now it is winning for white because white is a piece up. Right? So it's difficult for Dianshi. King comes back. And now rook gives a check. The king comes to c2. Rook to b7. Very good move. What is the idea behind this move, Yogit? Why would Dianshi put a rook here where it's looking at nothing? It was doing well there. She lifted it and put it here. Why?
So then another rook will come to b8.
Yeah, to double the rooks.
Battery.
Create a battery and rook can come to b2 after that. So this is good. Knight f5. Unfortunately, white is still up by a piece, so it's difficult to fight against an extra piece. The bishop moves, and now rook takes another pawn. And now Dianshi brings her rook to b8, doubling it up. Knight gives a check. Dianshi can exchange if you want to. She plays king f8, which is fine
Because you should not exchange with.
when you're down material. But the thing is, now knight will take the pawn, no? So it'll become even worse. So what to do? But at least she'll get a rook to b2. Right now there's a threat. King e8 is a threat. It'll be a king fork if you allow, if Dianshi can get king e8. Knight takes pawn is there, but king will take, and then knight take, rook take. So that's a big threat. But opponent will of course take the free pawn, attacking the rook. Do we save our rook, Saksham?
No, sir.
Yeah.
Just move your that rook to
Huh.
like b2.
Yeah, rook to b2, and then we can save our rook. That's what she does. The king has a square, good squares. King goes to d3. If the king are only these two lines, then rook can just come in. Like king goes down, rook check. King goes up, again rook check, it will be checked. But the square is there, so king can escape. So king to d3, and now Dianshi doesn't save her rook. She plays king e8, attacking this rook. Now question to Yogit. What move should white play here? If you are white, what do you do?
Sir, knight to b8.
Yeah, you can take the rook and protect your rook. So opponent missed that. That was an easy move, but opponent played rook takes pawn. By now he is below 5 minutes. It's a 10-minute game, right? And Dianshi is below 5 minutes. Opponent has 6.5 minutes. He takes the pawn, and here Dianshi made a silly blunder. She played rook to d8. That's a huge blunder. He couldn't afford to lose any more pieces. There were only 3 left. So now rook is gone. But opponent missed it. Opponent thought it's a check. I cannot.
What is it?
He's 623, but he's not taking pieces when it's a check. He's thinking I have to move my king. So he moves the king. Will Dianshi save her rook now? No. She takes another pawn, and now opponent takes the rook.
It is that.
And you didn't even take back. Why? You have to just take back. No, you played rook a4. I don't understand this. I mean, if someone captures your piece, of course you take back. So now opponent can just move the knight. Wait, opponent didn't move the knight. Opponent played rook takes bishop, which is even better. Because now Dianshi is down by... What is she down by, Saksham? What?
Down by bishop.
That is the wrong answer, Yogit.
I-
Well, the chance is gone. First you think an answer. No, without thinking, if you answer, the same thing will happen in games. Yogit?
Sir, rook.
Wrong answer, Dianshi. What is Dianshi down by?
Sir, a rook and a bishop.
Exactly. It's just 4 pieces on the board. You cannot look properly. Yeah? This is not even chess. You are just looking at the position and deciding who's better. No? So that itself, if you're not doing properly, then how will you calculate moves properly? So you have to just compare pieces. It's a bishop and rook extra. And a ton of pawns, but that we will not consider as much. Now we'll just see how the checkmate happens. Takes. Bishop comes out. Dianshi brings a rook to an active place, but the poor rook is fighting a lone battle. Rook d1. The king moves to e7. The rook comes to c7. The king goes to e8. And now how do we continue, guys? How does white try to give checkmate fast? Or what is the best option for white? There's a checkmate in 2 moves. Do you see the checkmate, Saksham? Do you see it till checkmate? There's a checkmate in 2 moves. You see the checkmate? Saksham? So try to calculate. Don't see one move and play the move. Calculate and then finish the game. Yes, Yogit.
Sir, rook to d7 and the king will go to.
Why will the king move? Rook d7, I'll play some other move. Let's say I play some other move, then what's the plan?
And the c rook to c8.
Yeah, that's one way to do it. Rook d7 and then rook c8. Right? There's no way to stop rook c8. So that's winning. But after rook d7, it's not forced. It's not a check. There is a way to finish the game with checks. If you can finish the game with checks, that's much better. Dianshi, do you see the checkmate?
Sir, rook c8.
Rook c8, king moves.
Sir, then
Huh.
bishop.
Bishop can't give a check. The king is on a dark square. So same thing as what Yogit told, but in the reverse order. Rook c8, king moves, and now rook d7. Checkmate. The king can't move because of this pawn. So that's how the game ended. So the main thing we can learn from this game for Dianshi mainly is don't give checks that kick yourself. Like don't give a check where your bishop gets kicked. And don't put a bishop on bad squares like f8 and d8. And queen also. Don't give checks that only helps the opponent. That is the main thing. And then the blunder, I don't understand. You gave up a piece, you thought it was a check. So he can't take it. So there's no rule like that. In chess, you give a check, he can take your piece, right? So that was the main reason he got the advantage when you gave up the knight for free. Okay, now we will see one of